Hey everybody, we're the Ohio guys. I'm guest speaker from Chicago, Ansel Young, and we are at Anime USA in Washington, D.C. And today I have with me Stephanie Young. How are you doing today, Stephanie?
I'm great, Ansel. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you again, too. Now, considering that this game cleaned out the Video Game Awards last year, what was it like working on Borderlands 2?
Borderlands was so much fun. You can just imagine. It was crazy. But I remember when I started voicing the sheriff of Lynchwood, we had a morning session at 10 a.m. And I know for the rest of the world that is not the earliest time, but for voice actors, it's a little early. And when I saw the drawing of her and the way I auditioned, I kept her kind of cool and tough. And honestly, I got in the booth. My wonderful director, Eric Vale, I started delivering some of the lines, and he beeped in, Stephanie. Yeah. He goes, do you need some coffee? Do you need coffee? Are you awake? Yes, Eric, I'm awake. Let's amp her up a little bit. Okay. So that was kind of funny. And now that's this running joke of, do you need some coffee? Do you need some coffee? Wake up. But so anyway, we finally found out where she was, and I mean, it's hard not to crack up on that show. And it's all prelay, so you these lines that you're going through, and it's so wonderfully written and hilarious. It went by so quickly. It felt like it went by like that. But I'm really excited to be a part of Borderlands 2. Great property.
I love the game myself, personally.
Snarky.
So funny.
Sassy.
And one of the earlier shows you've worked on, Desert Punk, what was it like working on that?
I liken Desert Punk to living in the mind of a 13-year-old boy. Desert Punk is so frivolous and fun. And also working with Eric Vale on that show, same director from Borderlands 2 that I worked with. He was I think he was the lead writer for the show. And he's the voice of Punk. And again, just silly and ridiculous and fun. And Junko was my first big lead role. And, Punk it's very campy, to say the least. And, Junko is all about her best assets that she's portraying and using. Let's just call it what it is. Can't get around it. And the fact that the animation for her assets would change so drastically throughout the show. And they had a life of their own. They would move. She would barely shift, and they would be all over the place. It was just hilarious. So also fun. I love that about this industry. Just these moments that they kind of catch you, make you blush, but it's fun and it's hilarious. I mean, it's harmless fun. But Junko was great. And I still believe that she's very clever. She knew what she was doing. But it was just hard not to crack up constantly in the booth on that show. We had this lexicon going for references for her assets. That it was just funny. It's just silly. And I would just leave and think, people are paying me to do this. This is great. So it makes me smile because we just laugh so much. And we had a lot of freedom on that show. Some shows, like when I voiced characters like Olivier in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, we were very respectful of the Japanese interpretation or how they recorded that show and the intonations of the voice actors. So we'd really listen. I would listen to my Japanese voice actor's counterpart and really listen to her. Punk, all bets are off. Tons of improvisation. It was a ball.
And another show you worked on, Negima, which I believe had a huge female cast. What was it like working on that?
Huge. And I play Mana Mana, gun-toting high school girl that she is. So much fun with all the artillery and weaponry that she has. Yeah, it was nice to be part of that large female ensemble. Mana Mana.
And another character, Gunslinger Girl. What was it like working on that show?
That was a learning experience because that was the very first property I ever worked on. First stepping into the booth at Funimation with the beautiful Laura Bailey directing. And the first time that I ever heard beeps in my headphones. I'd done a lot of commercial and industrial voiceover, but you don't have that, in that world. And to hear the beep, 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 say your line. That was bizarre. And she was so lovely how she sort of talked me through it and told me that I would get used to it after a while. But I had dreams of beeps. I would hear beeping in my head, and you can just have this, I would hear a car backing up and want to say something. You just felt like, I have a line. Oh, wait, no. And then I wanted to make sure I got the timing right. I go, 1, 2, 3. Eventually you just get used to it, and it just seems like breathing, coming in and doing that. But that show, super spy thriller. And I voiced Flanka in that show. And that was this opening up of this whole world And I remember when that ended, and then Gunslinger Girl, another iteration of it came back around and got to work on it again. And Flonka's part was even larger in the second version. That was very exciting. But that was when my eyes opened up to, this is what they do here. I want to do more of this. Who doesn't want to do this? It's very exciting.
And now, is there anything that's recently been announced or recently come out that you'd like to talk about or plug?
Absolutely. We've been on Toonami quite a bit, which is exciting, on Cartoon Network. A lot of One Piece. I voice Robin in One Piece. A lot of Soul Eater. I'm Arachne in Soul Eater. So we're thrilled that, we're having some Saturday evening TV time. And then I believe that Strong World's coming out for One Piece. So, and just the fact that the arc of Robin's journey in One Piece coming out with Water 7 and Enies Lobby is, everything's rolling out now is really exciting. And I'm thrilled for that character. Really dark stuff, but I'm thrilled that those stories are coming out now so I can talk about them. Need to talk about them. It's almost therapeutic in One Piece to be able to talk about that journey. But yeah, some of the other stuff I'm not sure I can talk about. I know you hear that all the time.
Completely understand.
Yeah, so
Okay.
good stuff.
And just in case if people haven't caught our other interview with you, do you have any social media networks that people could follow you or find a way to contact you, like Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media networks?
Sure. Thank you for asking. I am on Facebook, and my Facebook page is Stephanie Young, voice actress. I run my page, so that's me. And I also have a group within Facebook called Stephanie Young's Rio Poneglyph Hunters. It's a One Piece reference, however, we talk about lots of things. So sometimes I spend time with that group when I can. But definitely the Stephanie Young voice actress page, that's me. And then on Twitter, I'm Steph Young Brem. Brehm as in mom, that's my married name. So it's also a band that I'm in with my husband, we're called the Brems. So that's another outlet on Facebook where you can find us. We have original music that we write together, it's pop jazz, so check it out.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Stephanie.
Thank you.
And we are the Ohio Guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.